category kings, market leaders, up and to the right of the Gartner Magic Quadrant. All of these things are our championship rings in the SaaS industry. But the question is, how do you become number one? How do you become a category king? How do you become a market leader? How do you actually get rated as up and to the right as the number one leader in any space? Recently, I saw something amazing. Marketo, which is now Adobe, was placed as the leader in CRM lead management. They were ahead of Microsoft. They were ahead of Salesforce. They were ahead of Oracle. They beat out all of them. And Marketo, which is now Adobe, was number one. It begged the question, what does it actually take to become a category king? What does it take to become a market leader where you dominate even against companies like Salesforce? So in this episode, we're gonna dig into exactly what it takes to become a category king and a market leader in your space. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you navigate the path to the next stage of growth with an unstoppable strategy. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and a bell icon so that you get notified every single time I drop an episode, every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday with the TK energy. Also, if you're back, if you're already part of the channel, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market program, welcome back. It's really great to see you here. Now, if you're a SaaS founder and you're navigating to the next stage of growth, there are probably some questions you're starting to ask yourself. They include, number one, what category am I really in? Number two, how big is the market? Number three, who are the other players? And number four, how do we differentiate, win, and be number one? So ultimately, you're gonna ask all of these questions. You're gonna ask, well, what do we need to do to be number one, be that category king, be that market leader? Here's the thing. It does require violent execution and an excellent execution to actually win in the SaaS space. That's why it's so lucrative. But at the same time, if you wanna be a category king, if you wanna be a market leader, there's some very specific things that you actually need to do. You have to do this upfront. If you do it well, you actually can get a 10x premium on everything. Because here's the thing, when you are the category king and the market leader and you're up and to the right, you're gonna get a 10x premium on your valuations. You're gonna get a 10x premium on your deals. Every deal that you're in, you're gonna get a 10x premium on your brand. You're gonna get a 10x premium on any exit that you look at. You're gonna get a 10x premium on any recruitment activity that you're going into. You're just gonna get a 10x premium when you're the market leader, so it's worth digging into. So if you're excited to dig into the principles, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's go into principle number one. So principle number one is, what is your unique point of view? What is your secret? Here's the thing about all great market leaders. When they entered the space, they almost pretty much started a religion. They went into the space and said, hey, here's a totally different way of thinking about X. If you consider Salesforce, they went in with their no software religion. They said that, oh, cloud is the future, on-premise is the past, here's the new way to do it. That was a very specific point of view. That was a very specific secret. Peter Thiel, in his book, wrote, in the 0 to 1 book, which maybe you've read, if you haven't, you should definitely read it. He wrote, great startups are all about secrets. Secrets are these things that founders know and they believe, but no one else can see yet. And so if you started a SaaS business and you're in the early stages, chances are there's a particular secret you're onto. You have this aha moment where you're like, oh my God, this is a thing. And not everyone sees it yet. And that's your unique point of view. That's why you started the company. But a lot of times people try to distill that down, water that down, put it away, and try to just convince the market to use their software. But the category kings, the category winners, the market leaders, the creme de la creme, they actually went in and said, well, what is my unique point of view? And what is my secret? And they started to actually own it. Which takes me to principle number two. Principle number two is they almost always went in and wrote down their manifesto. So it's no longer a secret. Here's the thing, if you are onto a secret, that's why you created the software, so that everyone else can unlock that secret. So they can actually say, oh, if I use this software, there's a new way of doing something, and therefore I win. But here's the thing though, before they're gonna be convinced to use your software or use this vehicle that you created to actually drive this transformation, they have to see what you see. They have to get to that aha moment of like, oh, here's a different way to think about it. And that's where the manifesto comes in. The manifesto is your way of actually teaching everyone else this secret that you uncovered, and then telling them, oh, and if you want employ this secret, if you want this transformation, if you want to do this, then go ahead and sign up for my product. And that's the power in this. So if you go back to the lineage of some of the best SaaS businesses that are out there, whether it's Salesforce or Eloqua or Marketo, you name it, they almost always started with a manifesto, a whole different way of thinking about it. That was their secret. And then they actually published that manifesto and mobilized that manifesto and said, hey, here's exactly how to think about it. I'll give you two examples. One, for Marketo, they were all about giving the CMO a seat at the table. They were saying, look, CMOs are not just about brand, they're about revenue. They can actually tie themselves to revenue. They can own a number. They should get a seat at the revenue table, and they can show how they're impacting revenue. And that's what Marketo helped them do. That was a transformation. That was a little bit of a secret. And be sure to know they actually wrote out a manifesto that talked about this. Salesforce did the same. Salesforce said, hey, there's all this software that you buy and you install and you run. That's dumb. We're going to put it in the cloud. And also, if you think about ToutApp, we did the same thing. Back when we started ToutApp, there was no sales engagement. There was no sales automation. They only had CRM. And we said, you know what? It takes 8 touches to convert a lead to a real opportunity. Let's automate a bunch of those. Let's automate those emails and let's remind people to do all the manual tasks. And that way it'll be a streamlined process. That was a secret. And we wrote a book about it. We ran webinars on it. We wrote our manifesto, and that's what mobilized this entire space. So that's principle 1 and 2. Let me pause here for a second before I go deep into actually how to implement this in principle number 3. If you're starting to see the difference in thinking here, if you're starting to see, well, it's not just about the product, it's not just about any old go to market, it's about really getting my point of view out there. It's really about codifying our manifesto. It's really about educating these people. If you're starting to see the difference, if you're starting to recognize this pattern even, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and hit me with a yes below, just so I know you're with me. Also, if you're thinking about how to actually build a differentiated go-to-market machine for your SaaS business, be sure to check out my SaaS go-to-market program. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video, but let's go into principle number 3. Principle number 3 is you gotta out-teach the competition. You gotta out-teach the competition, and you gotta out-teach the market so that you can actually build authority, trust, and brand and moats. That's a lot over here. Let me explain. There's 2 things you can do in the market. One thing you can do is you can go spend, and you can try and outspend the competition, right? That's normally how people build go-to-market machines. They go in and they say, let's run more ads, run more content, sponsor more events, and we'll be everywhere, and people will join us. Like, hopefully they'll buy and we'll be in every single deal. The other way to do it is approach it from a teaching perspective. Some people call this education marketing. Some people call it the new marketing, whatever you want to call it. My mantra on this is you got to out-teach the competition. And what you want to do is not outspend, but out-teach. When you do this in a very specific way, what you're able to do is you're able to actually take your unique point of view. You're able to actually take your manifesto, which is the secret you're onto. You're able to mobilize that in the market through education. You're able to go out there, and instead of saying, hey, do you want to buy my software? What you go out there and say is, hey, listen, this is big change happening, and there's an opportunity for you. And you can either win or you can lose. And based on that, you'll be able to actually educate them on this big opportunity that you have ahead of you, that they have ahead of you. And together you can go win more if you work together on it. And that's essentially what out-teaching means. It means that instead of trying to sell them, you're going to teach them. You're going to teach them a new opportunity that they have, a transformation that they can have, and the software that can power that. And when you do this, a few things will happen. Number 1, you're going to actually have more authority in the market. People will look at you and say, oh, this person's thinking deeply about what's going on in the space. I trust this person. So A, you're going to have more authority. B, people are going to trust you more. And C, there's going to be way more awareness in the market because people are tuned in more when they feel like they can learn something, when they can do their jobs better, when they can actually have opportunities presented to them through you versus just feeling like they're being sold to, which is why this form of marketing is so powerful. So let's go through the 3 principles just to recap. If you actually want to be a market leader, a category king, if you want to rise above the competition, the first thing you need to do is hone in on what your unique point of view is. What is the secret? That's what you need to do first. Number 2, you need to actually codify that into a manifesto so you can teach others this secret. Then you need to actually mobilize your manifesto by out-teaching the competition and going into the market to build trust, build authority, build the brand, and that will give you the ultimate moat. When you have that, you'll be able to go into every single deal and get a 10x premium. You'll be able to actually show the market that you're number one because you are leading the path, you're teaching them, and they're gonna trust you more. That way, your fundraisers are gonna be 10x better with the premium. And even exit opportunities are gonna be 10x better because they're gonna look at you as the leader in the space, not just in terms of the software, but because people trust you and follow you. Are you guys getting this? Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, how do I do these three things? Because this doesn't sound like your standard go-to-market thing. Like, how do I put this into play, right? And how do I also answer some of these more compelling questions around what category am I in? How big is the market? Who are the other players and how do we differentiate? And how do we do this through this educational marketing piece, through this manifesto piece? If you're asking these questions and you're actually navigating this path to build a differentiated go-to-market machine and to accelerate your growth, the one thing I have for you is my SaaS go-to-market program. Inside of my SaaS go-to-market program, it's a 3-part program. It's a coaching program where I work with SaaS founders like you to accelerate your path to the next stage of growth through these core principles. The 3 things we include is we go deep into defining your ICP. We actually help you create your manifesto, and then we help you mobilize your manifesto through what we call a Broadway show. All 3 of these things have helped countless SaaS businesses accelerate their revenues. So if you're interested in that and you want to work with me, I invite you to actually book a call. All you need to do is go to tkkader.com/GTM. When you go there, you'll get a bunch of details around the program. You'll be able to actually apply to join the program. And if you're the right fit, then you'll actually get on a call with me. I don't have a weird sales team. There's no closer. There's no like college intern that's gonna ask you the script. You're gonna call with me. And based on our conversation on the call, I'll tell you if we can actually help you build a differential go-to-market machine, if this go-to-market program can actually help drive results for you. And if that's the case, we can work together. So just go to tkkader.com/GTM or follow the link below, and I'll see you on a call. And lastly, we drop a video like this every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it's all around how to actually drive more growth around your SaaS business. If you got value from this video, please be sure to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified every single time I drop an episode. And also, if you have a friend or a co-founder or a team that would get value from this video, it would mean the world to me and my team if you shared this video as well or tweeted it out. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode. So A, you're gonna have authority. B,